I want to share a secret with you about how to write off credit card, loan, and overdraft debt in the UK. You might be thinking, is this even possible? Well, it is, and I'll explain how. You need a good understanding of how money and debt works. When you borrow money, you're entering into an agreement to repay it over time, a lot of the time with interest. Unfortunately, life happens, and sometimes we find ourselves unable to keep up with these payments. This is a situation that most people have been in at some stage. So remember, you're not alone. Be patient and keep making token payments to your creditors, even if it's just a small amount like £1. If you're wondering, well, why should I do that? The Financial Conduct Authority Handbook 7.3.5 explains it all. It lays out guidelines for creditors on how to treat customers who are in financial difficulty, and it can provide insights into how you can handle debt collectors. There are rules that they have to play by, and if you educate yourselves, then they'll have to stick to the rules. If you can't make the payments, a creditor will try and contact you to work out a payment plan. Communicating is the best way to deal with them. Just make sure you're honest about your situation and seem like you're willing to work with them. At this point, it's good to have clear evidence of your financial situation. So make sure you've got a record of your outgoings versus your income. Put it down on an income and expenditure form so that you're in a position to prove that you can't afford those payments. You can't be forced to pay more than you can afford, but you must be able to prove it. If you still can't come to an agreement, then your debt may eventually be paid to a debt collector. This in-house debt collector is owned by the bank, but operates under a different name and company number. They'll try to prompt payment, sometimes by sending intimidating letters, but don't let this scare you. These letters are system generated and they're sent to thousands of people. It's essential to keep all communication with debt collectors in writing so that you've got a record of everything that's been discussed. Throughout this process, you also really need to focus on your needs and your family's well-being. Prioritise having a roof over your head, food on the table, and taking care of you and your loved ones. Now, this might shock you, but debt collectors buy debts in batches and they can pay as little as 3p to the pound. So let's say that you owe £1,000, they could buy that debt for a mere 30 quid. Now, they're essentially buying the rights to collect your debt, and they'll do their best to get you to pay as much as possible because that's how they make their money. But remember, they paid a fraction of what you owe, so there is room for negotiation. When you know this, it becomes your biggest bargaining tool. When dealing with debt collectors, set up an agreement and continue making those token payments. Remember, the longer you make payments for, the more the debt devalues, and this is because debt collectors often factor into time that it takes them to collect the debt when they purchase it. So basically, the longer it takes, the less they're making on their investment. If you're wondering how much to pay, it might be wise to budget and work out what spare cash that you have monthly and set up a dedicated direct debit or a standing order so that you don't even have to think about it. So let's say you set it up for 30 quid. Over a year, that's 360 quid. Work out how much they could have bought your debt for, and you'll realise that you're already in a better position. Eventually, debt collectors will try to settle at a lower amount. This is where your negotiation skills come into play. You've got the power to get the best discount possible, but it takes patience and persistence. Don't be afraid to stand your ground and push for a settlement that works for you. After all, they're still making a profit, even if they settle for less than the full amount. You've got nothing to lose, so push back as hard as you can. A full and final settlement is a great option if you have access to a lump sum. You can write to your creditors yourself, and there's no need to hire a solicitor. The money for the lump sum can come from various sources like refunds, redundancy payments, selling assets, inheritance, relatives, or even your pension if you're over 55. If you have a smaller amount, it might be a good idea to pay off one creditor. When making the offer, you can use a sample letter like the one from National Debtline and add an explanation about where the money's coming from and include an income and expenditure sheet. Make sure the creditor confirms in writing that they accept the money as a full and final settlement and won't sell the remaining debt. Consider getting professional advice from a debt advisor or a financial counsellor. Step Change and National Debt Line can provide guidance and help you understand your rights, ensuring that you're well prepared to enter these negotiations. The key to writing off your credit card, loan and overdraft debt in the UK is understanding how money and debt work, being patient and also negotiating with debt collectors. Keep making those token payments and remember that time is on your side. As the debt devalues, you'll be in a better position to negotiate a settlement that works for you. I also want to stress the importance of knowing your rights and doing your research, because the more you know about the debt collection process, the better equipped you'll be to handle any situation that comes your way. Keep the Financial Conduct Authority Handbook 7.3.5 handy, and I'll make sure I'll link it below this video for you. Dealing with that can be incredibly stressful, and it's essential to take care of your mental and emotional well-being. Reach out to friends and family for support, practice stress reduction techniques, and try to maintain a positive outlook. Remember, you're not alone, and there are resources available to help you. 1 in 2 adults with debts have a mental health problem, and 1 in 4 people with a mental health problem are also in debt. Those statistics are shocking. So if you find yourself in that situation, let me tell you about the Breathing Space scheme. It's a government scheme which freezes your debts for 60 days while you seek professional help about your debts. It's a good way to get a pause on your financial situation so that you can come up with a solution to move forward. Check online to see if you qualify. You may have heard of other people writing debt off from an IVA or bankruptcy. There are loads of debt solutions available. They all have their pros and cons, but your unique situation will dictate what you qualify for, because everybody's debt journey is different. It's just a case of looking into them all and finding out which one is the most suited to you. I'll leave a link below the video with an attached form, and there's a handful of multiple choice questions. If you fill it in, it'll put you in touch with a company that I've partnered with, and they can help talk you through all of your options and explain debt solutions. I hope this information has helped. Writing off credit card loan and overdraft debt in the UK might seem like a daunting task, but with the right approach, patience and persistence, it's possible. Make sure that you keep learning and that you stay in control of your financial future. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have, make sure you check out some more of our videos here at MoneyNerd.